All right, and we're live. Welcome to Someday, according to Trey. Good to see you, Trey. So it's calling it Synergy Sunday. Who's in the game? So we're going to take a look at Sabrina Wallace, a little video of hers. She was on Odyssey, and I subbed to her channel or followed whatever on Odyssey. No, I can't find her. I can't find the channel, which is kind of a pain in the ass. But I found a video with Spanish subtitles that has been published about her, so we can look at that. Hi, Tony. Good to see you. Let's share that up. You can take a look at Sabrina Wallace. I don't know what the title means. It's in Spanish. Como hacen tu currito. I guess some of you guys in chat would know what that means. Leave that up there. Nah. Anyway. Where are you? Over there. Okay. So yeah, we're going to take a look at this. Her career. At least a little bit of it. That she'll tell us. How come you're hacking my IP? Well, it's, I guess it's fun. It gives them better connectivity. Hi, Chloe. Good to see you. So let's take a little look.
Okay, simplest explanation, tailored specifically for those of you from radio frequency, information technology. In other words, the people that for the last year and a half I've been bitching at, going,
oh yeah, ear rape warning. She occasionally yells.
How do you guys not know? And why aren't you telling other people what the COVID
I don't know if she does in
is?
this video, though.
It's a cyber physical backbone. What's that? What's telepathy? Here we go. What's the aura? Here we go. You have no idea. You, whoever you are in information technology, radio frequency, computer networking, code nerds with Python, you guys, I grew up with a bunch of you, and all my life, you never believed in any of that stuff. Chakras, like behind me over here, that's foo-foo and woo-woo. And you're focused on what? Routing radio frequency through the human body. Through the human body. Through the human body since 1995. So you have to understand initially that for me, after being targeted with electronic torture and not knowing about the electronic warfare side at all until 2019, going down to the post office, and they said, you're in the new 6G. And I happened to hold a job a long time ago.
See, that's been wiring. Some people, like born since 1995, haven't existed without them being wired through. Electricity being put through their bodies on purpose. Not that it wasn't being done before. It's just that was a radiative effect. This is directed and channeled through your body. Baphomet talking in tongues. What's your IP? I don't know. I have a MAC address. I don't know that that's quite an IP, but we all have a MAC address. They did that in the Internet of Things. We can look at that later.
And this time I'm going to show you why this is such an issue for certain people, because they're like, don't fuck with her because she does know. Yeah, High Speed Access Corporation, before it was sold to Charter Communications, the Network Operations Center with 3 layers of security going underground, was in Louisville, Kentucky. The second Cisco certified network professional was who got off the plane with Woz and the rest of them. And when I was 19 years old, and I walked over in the knock to say hello to this gentleman who ran our network operations center. And then I went back up to Wisconsin as a field operations technician.
Right, Trey?
One of 2 people.
That's when they get you with the high pitched.
The state of Wisconsin from dial-up to broadband, the state. So Madison, which was DOCSIS, because it's a big city, Milwaukee and Green Bay, Time Warner, DOCSIS, throwaway modems, whatever. But for the smaller towns, I was positioned in Eau Claire, Wisconsin. Rice Lake was another plant that I was responsible for. Those people in smaller communities had to be changed over with the cable plant of the copper and the fiber and all the utilities for water and everything else. And all of that is plant architecture that radio frequency people, linemen, plant engineers know all about. Okay? Now, do you know about NMAPs? Do you know about the PRISM system with the National Security Agency? Do you know about all the secret data links we use with AT&T?
I like watching her because
box for local police.
No.
Computer networking, radio frequency. My job was to tell the cable guys who were doing the fittings and whatnot out on the pole or in the home what to do, because I was in control of the cable modem in the head end on the back end. Okay? So that's all back in 2001. At the same time, I was teaching people meditation, healing touch, and the biofield. Okay? On my off time, while working at Charter, teaching people, this is a body part.
I'm going to turn it down a little bit. I have been unable to find her again on.
I get up here in front of people and I go, "Show me your biofield."
On Odyssey, go, if anybody has a link to her channel, and I said, no, and can put it in chat.
Sorry, I'm gonna fix my lighting here so you can see it. And then I stand up.
I posted it on one of my lives. I don't know which one though.
It's called piloerection. It's the sympathetic nervous system. Apologies for calling it parasympathetic. That's different. That's digestion. Well, come on. Let's see it.
You got Rusty Bed Springs Jay, IP Nightly.
Yeah. Okay. 1. Roll your shoulders forward if you've been sitting. 2.
So she also teaches piloerection, giving yourself goosebumps. We'll discuss that later as well.
And if I put some effort into it.
Yes, Max.
Shield. That's your biofield. Which is why those of you that still don't get it. How's your phone work?
Thanks for your help, Max.
Your cell phone, tell me how it works. This was the other
you're intolerant of dairy.
That I got from people over and over again. They're like, well, all you're doing is saying, how does your phone work? No, I'm trying to draw your attention to literal tech metrics. I don't know where my phone went. So that you understand how easy it is to log into you and make a change. So, how did we get to this?
What about goat's milk?
All these good people in radio frequency, etc., that they don't know shit about what we're actually doing.
Say hi, Max.
Body. And in order to explain all of this, I've had to make a gazillion signs.
Say hello.
I've had to come back out here over and over again, and I've been trying to figure out why it is.
Yes, you love the microphone.
That nobody else seems to know these things. Okay.
Okay.
This is my great uncle's folder from Shepherd Air Force Base. I often also show his Aberdeen Proving Grounds stuff. That's my little pink book, wherever it's hiding at the moment. And then I also go over his old notes with flux density notation with mercury and whatnot. Why? So that people understand that this has been going on for a really long time. So tell me how your phone works. When you click a button and you send an email, you don't see the email leave the phone. It's a wireless, invisible signal, just like your body. It's a body part. So when I worked at UW Whitewater, for my job, I found IBM software that they alleged was also used way back when Fauci and them wanted to get their shit off the ground for attacking the human immune system. Well, if you don't know that the human immune system is 80% your biofield, You called it the aura. You called it stupid. Yeah, I know. That's because 6,000 years of human telemetry.
You guys are going to want to hear what she has to say in a very short while.
Magically disappeared. Nobody has any idea what's going on. That was 6,000 years of the human circulatory system. You call it chakras. Yeah, they call it aim and fire. 150 years ago, Aleister Crowley and people. Yeah, nothing's real except what you can see.
Aim and fire. I like it.
There's no cymatics. There's no radionics. There's no plasmonics. There's nothing except what you can see. Well, that's a body part that's responsible for 80% of our immune system. How do we know for sure? The definition of Children's Hospital, the organs and tissues that comprise the immune system, the thymus, the bone marrow, the lymphatic, your vessels, your spleen, and your skin.
Yeah, shock raw.
And so I'm like, yeah, the human biofield being watched by Project Salus. So the human biofield is the aura, is your W band, 802.15.6. Department of Defense Directive 3000.09, everything is autonomous. And you have an MQ-9 Reaper drone attached to your skin and bone. That's a big bird for those of you that know. She's huge. And so for me, I'm like, why in the hell do we need something that big? Well, for those of you in radio frequency, yet again, that don't understand that we're playing around with the particulate in the atmosphere and perturbating the human biofield with the Doppler. Okay? And we're not talking about any of that. We're not talking about geoengineering and weather control, and all these systems work together. When I log into your body, I'm looking at multiple manifolds, torus manifolds, and then I'm using mathematics to log into your cell structure with something called biophysics, opto-array, electronic, photonic, moving your cells around with pressure, temperature, and physics, physical biophysics change.
Writing to your DNA, they're doing all kinds of horrible things to us. Hey, Scotty, good to see you. Maximus needs attention. Let's sue the teachers union, school our kids. Yeah, they did a terrible job. At least they have recently. I think they did a terrible job in the past too, but they were stuck to the kinder system.
Not, oh gee, I'm waving my magic.
Again, ear rape warning. She does yell sometimes.
Wand. No, I'm logging into your body with radio frequency directly. This is how AI precision healthcare is offered. And I'm going to show you the bigger sign here in a minute. Step 1. Since 2005, any little nerd who could code in Zigbee and Bluetooth for light switches since 2005 is working with these biosensors, K-hop nearest neighbor routing, dynamic channel allocation, thermodynamic routing, right there. You can go look it up. Open shortest path first, body to body. How did I find it? Cybersecurity for the new digital ID in the 6G low personal area.
Hi, winning streak.
Machine to machine.
I haven't seen you here. Have you been here before?
And it's ad hoc, vehicular ad hoc or whatever. And then the body is what sends the
That's
signal.
Sabrina Wallace.
This mathematically, by the metrics, I had a shit fit because I'm like, how in the hell are you using the human body for that? What are you doing? If you're doing that, you're using the aura. And of course, you can imagine as a natural telepath, having been electronically tortured lifelong for metrics.
You called him, did you, Trey?
What the fuck is this? You told me, not y'all, but family, professionals, people, oh, energy work is bullshit. The aura's not real. Only believe in what you can see. We're going to fix people's health. Well, I was told I had
nice to meet you again.
Cerebri.
Yeah.
Anybody who got an autoimmune disorder out there? You ever wondered why they can't fix it? Okay. Maybe I should get that other sign back here for a second. Where's your immune system? 80% of your immune system is in that field. Am I able to electronically log into you and change out the cellular homeostasis of your electrical cell structure? And anybody who knows anything about biology, do you shit ham sandwiches?
Oh, sorry to hear that.
When you go eat your lunch, after you're done eating your lunch, do you shit it out in the same format?
Everyone wish winning streak well.
Why is that? Because we're biochemical beings and we have electricity in our cells. Yeah. But if I hit you with the signal and I decouple your ass from your circadian rhythms by using the ratio, the golden ratio, to uncouple the cellular state. Now, where did I get this from? Tufts University, Dr. Michael Levin. Life extension, synthetic biology, immortality research. It's called regenerative medicine, biomedical tissue engineering, wireless tissue engineering. For that, we have to disassociate your electrical fields, plural. This is called the biofield at the National Institute of Health. In the quantum market share, it's called the quantum field. In morphogenesis, you heard me, synthetic biology, morphogenesis, it's called the morphogenetic field. And why? Because it's still all the same damn thing. More cells at every level exchanging data in your lymphatic system, your tissues. Now they're hacking into that, changing it so that they can get transhumanism, synthetic biology, life extension. Where the fuck is everyone else?
Yeah, I did a search into she's fantastic. She was on Odyssey. I don't know if she still is. I had she started up a new channel, I guess, a while ago on Odyssey, and I've been unable to find it today. But she was involved in the industry, setting it up all the way through. So she has quite a bit of knowledge. She was involved in experimentation and other things. Let's right now she's outlining how we're being used.
Let me show you. It's not real. Why are they doing that? If they're going to work and they're working on it, why are they telling you it's not real? Well, I'm going to show you. It's very simple. I went ahead because I was so angry, and when I get mad, I do research, and then I force myself to take a breath, go outside with the bow staff if I'm really pissed off, and come back to Zen. Self-control. Make a list. And I'm like, okay, wait. So if I go to work for Command and Control C4ISR, CyberNet, NIBRNet, back into the NSA, DNA steganography with the NSA, and we watch every synaptic exchange at 5,100 bits and log it with the NSA PRISM program. That's what Assange, Snowden, and all of them were talking about. That's why they killed Barnaby Jack, the ATM jackpotter. He was there at DEF CON to present that it was easier to hack a human body with a pacemaker or otherwise. You didn't need to have a pacemaker than it was a car. Dead. So with that in mind, I'm like, why can't we talk about this? So I went and found where you can talk about it, because even in the machine learning, you're not allowed to write the word biofield, which I found very weird, okay, because nobody reads that stuff. So then I found out that it is the following. Electronic medical police, warfare divisions, military, your Lockheed, Raytheon, all of them. Advanced signals technology. It's everywhere as a job. In information, surveillance, and reconnaissance, the Internet of behaviors, bodies, things, the industrial Internet of Things, the medical body area network, all way back, 2005, 2015. It's all there. And
well,
like,
we need recompense for our bodies being
and
used.
Neuromodulation, neural stimulation, Project Salus, watching everybody think in real time with CT2WS, cognitive warfare technology, EEG headset, ultrasound, modified ultrasound, all walking around on a headset. Then the Renius chipset embedded in their left hemisphere. And I'm like, where did all of this come from? Synthetic telepathy, been out there since 1995.
She does throw out a lot of terms. I can't slow it down and decipher each term for you. This is the thing. This is a learning curve to understand what she is saying. I've been outlining a lot of the documents that she shares and doing my own research into documents, because she gives you the tools and the places to search for the documents that show, that we are being used as an antenna and part of the internet. She goes even deeper to talk about blockchain, how it involves you.
So they needed...
I don't know if she does in this video, though.
Just like back in the day when everybody was logging into email for the first time on dial-up, it would get crowded. People would have to wait forever and get kicked off. I fucking worked it.
We are. We are.
My job was to upgrade them, to bring them out of dial-up and onto cable modems, for which I used a system called NMAPs on COM controllers with something called COM21 cable modems, which were different than the throwaway DOCSIS stuff in the big cities, different markets, so different hardware, everything, different software.
Hi, Angel Wings.
So I went ahead as I continued to make my little T-bar list, and I'm like, so let me get this straight. If I'm in radio frequency, if I'm in IT, I log into the body, make changes, and organize. If I'm anyone else in the world, I'm a fucking nut job. Give me drugs and make me sit still. And the only place you can really learn about the biofield is in the Bible, because Jesus used it to heal. And I mean, it's ions and electrons. It's your exchange with your environment. That's why everybody works with radar. We're told, get your nuts away from it because it'll overheat you and such. It's microwave. And then they also could feel the radar coming and going without looking at the screen. Yes, because you have an electrical body part involved. So then, as if all that wasn't enough, because I couldn't figure out, how is this so obvious to me, but not everyone else? Because I admit the body part. Now, enter in where I come from. I come from Black projects. So I go back to my grandmother, who was a Rosicrucian in Chicago, has a bunch of depression glass. These are nanolipids. And they would have them stand on a metal plate or whatever. Yeah. And that's your specialized concrete for human teleportation, like you heard out of the mouths of Sean Ryan and other people who he interviewed, the Marines and such, that found the photonic different mixtures of concrete, just like the Roman Colosseum specialized limestone. So
what?
This is also another reason why I'm like, oh my God, you guys have been doing this for 100 years plus.
She knows what she's talking about. Some of it's a little
scientific and medical band. This is
out of my range there. I have to rewind that for a second.
That's your targeted individuals in Havana syndrome as well. 2 radio frequencies.
I've experienced Havana.
I log into the body, make changes, and organize. If I'm anyone else in the world, I'm a fucking nut job. Give me drugs and make me sit still. And the only place you can really learn about the biofield is in the Bible, because Jesus used it to heal. And I mean, it's ions and electrons. It's your exchange with your environment. That's why everybody works with radar. We're told, get your nuts away from it.
Interesting. You'll have to tell us about that.
And then they also could feel the radar coming and going without looking at the screen. Yes, because you have an electrical body part involved. So then, as if all that wasn't enough, because I couldn't figure out, how is this so obvious to me, but not everyone else? Because I admit the body part. Now, enter in where I come from. I come from Black projects. So I go back to my grandmother, who was a Rosicrucian in Chicago, has a bunch of depression glass. These are nanolipids. And they would have them stand on a metal plate or whatever. Yeah. And that's your specialized concrete for human teleportation, like you heard out of the mouths of Sean Ryan and other people.
Interesting.
He interviewed.
I don't know who Sean Ryan is.
The photonic different mixtures of concrete, just like the Roman Colosseum specialized limestone. So this is also another reason why I'm like, oh my God, you guys have been doing this for 100 years plus. Radio frequency, industrial, scientific, and medical.
That'd be nice, Nina.
We got our 2.4 terahertz from, and that's your targeted individuals in Havana syndrome as well. 2 radio frequency syncs, one over the heart, one over the bladder. Illegal as fuck.
I am Caucasian.
RFID chips in people since the 60s, with John von Neumann software and architecture. Why and how? So the first sign I ever did, I had to destroy because the Pentagon was so pissed at me. And I said, I know why you've done this, because you did it for wireless tissue engineering, which is what's his name is up there with Palpatine, also known as Klaus Schwab, talking about all that.
Palpatine.
Okay? So your body is 802.15.6. You're a wide body area network. We fly a drone with sensors, open system architecture, and modified open system approach. We can slap any hardware on the back end of it. We can log into it with a web portal. We fly it over your home. Now, people who think that CERN, ITER, and Tokamak are demon portals are a bit confused. Big fucking magnet under your feet could be the baseboard carrier signal to your cable company or baseline satellite. And we create an electromagnetic field above your head and below your feet. Now, your biofield, your whole fucking body, is inside of 802.15.6. The biosensors are individually accessible.
Damn you, Klaus.
My Tiny OS cybersecurity on 802.15.4. Your wireless sensor networks create radio frequency relays and anything that they need to perturbate cell structure on 802.15.5. And before you say, well, what the hell do they need all that for? Precision artificial intelligence, wireless healthcare. So we break out the internal organs.
Yeah, where they can stimulate neurons and muscles.
With the CRISPR-Cas9 infusion, which I'll show in a sign here in a moment. Or we can just go ahead and terahertz to gigahertz, gigahertz to terahertz, and exchange out your cell structure. Oh, but they need to practice that. They already did it. So what they did was they lied. So first you see a UFO, they radiate your body part known as the biofield. Then you start getting psychic abilities. They're called psionics. Telepathy, empathy, precognition, telekinetics are natural in human bodies. Neurons. And neurons are not only in your brain, they are body-wide.
I wish I could slow her down a little bit.
About any of that. So instead, you're told you're a fucking nut job, take drugs, or else you can't talk to anybody who's normal. The Christians will scare the shit out of you, call you evil, The people that want to wear robes, bleed on the floor, and do stupid shit with the CIA, thinking that they're surfing the astroplane, they end up on the Cisco backplane. You're like, wait a minute, what are you talking about? Well, they're pulling the neurons out of your body just a little bit at a time and loading them into a neuromorphic chipset. How do you think they got such incredible artificial intelligence in the first fucking place? It's your neurons. And they admit they need living neurons to do what they do. Now, this is where a bunch of people get fucked up with me. And they're like, oh, Sabrina, you're being a doom pillar, blah, blah, blah. There's no way they would pull our neurons out of our body, store them in a chipset, and then take our skin and bone, do what they wanted to with it, lock us underground, and then when we think we're being born, they're putting us back into another body somewhere. And everyone goes, ah! And I'm like, listen, the dimension that we live in, they lied to you about how it works with material physics. You think people are going to burn in fire and brimstone. And this is the part of things you can take it or leave it. But what I saw was that people go into a neuromorphic chipset. It's a plasmonic architecture underground. And that makes sense to me because that's one of the reasons so many people throw in with this system that recycles itself. It's not some big secret. These are jobs. So the wireless body area network, you're sitting there.
Hi, Michael.
They fly over. You get
Hi, Andy.
radiated. You start having psionic
Doom pill, I
abilities,
like it.
They continue to perturbate your biofield. They watch your dreams. They record your dreams. And they record everything you're thinking in real time to databases that are using the ubiquitous and the ambient air molecules all around you. Again, well-minded, or I should say healthy people, they're like, that's way too much.
Somebody else come up and
but if you
comment.
didn't have a body,
say holy
and
shit
you had no
and
way
stuff.
to have a body, and you're running the world and you're obsessed with control, okay?
I do want to hear that
Next thing is
transportation,
if you get
that
radiated and your bionomics, your bioinformatics fall out of place,
transportation
you fall into a liminal
information
space.
again.
We can then morph you again with genomics and morphology, transhumanism full on, and turn you into Bigfoot, or Wolfman, or whatever else.
Make you a Yeti.
And you can be bilocated. And there's 4D skiffs that they can walk into to be secure from bioweapons.
Okay, need to rewind that.
Nuts. I know. Everybody's like, no, the aliens are here. And I said, no, we make the aliens. And everybody continued to freak out on me. And I'm like, listen, the HemiSync thing, the CIA gateway process, that was you people feeding the
Yeah,
databases.
she is spot on, unfortunately,
the
Chloe.
masters for DNA synchronicity and DNA sequence matching. That's your global information grid for your digital twin. And your string theory is bullshit. But we do have a 4D. There's no multiverse. There's just the Nephilim and everybody else. So, you think that because you're a Christian. No.
See, she jumps all over the place.
It's nature spirits and every other type of creature you can possibly imagine. And it was still the same jack-offs who were kidnapping people and doing
well, she lived
things.
it, beloved.
So, for me,
right?
I'm like,
if anybody has her channel on Odyssey,
you're not
please post it.
That you've got their
I can't find it at the moment.
80% of their immune system locked down.
They won't let me find it.
Transcranial magnetic stimulation was what they were doing to me, but they told me I had pseudotumor cerebri. Back in the 90s, they said when you could feel the subtle electrocution, there was no such thing back then as electrosensitive because they didn't tell anybody they were subtly electrocuting people. They said, no, you have fibromyalgia. You're just a wuss to pain. No, you don't. You have pseudotumor cerebri, fake brain tumor. Your brain is acting like it has a tumor, but we don't know why. Well, because you're transcranially magnetically stimulating my brain to swell it and de-swell it.
Yeah, my bloody teeth fell out,
for
bastards.
M3 with DARPA. That's fucking why. And I have
You're a fast talker? Okay.
Removed from the M3 process, which is MPD and DID. You just put an EEG overlay of personality.
Like
just a
all over the
out of
place.
me a few neurons at a time. And then we can induce your neurons
Hi,
into
Dolly.
an alpha state. When we do that, it causes schizophrenia, but only in certain neural networks. And we use that back in the day in the 80s and 90s to check parity for neuron, neuron, and brain, brain. Now, those products and services are commercial. They are available from the Artificial Intelligence Symposium that you can still go read the transcripts for from September 2020. And that's synthetic telepathy and synchron and brain-to-brain interface, which is, in my opinion, why they needed to hurry up and get the newest backbone deployed, because not enough people knew, of course, because it's their personal private system of walking circles around all the good people who are doing their jobs legally. And none of this has legal oversight. All of it is black projects hidden. So that's why I keep getting pissed at people who claim they're going to sue people. I'm like, you guys don't know what you're talking about. You either don't know what you're talking about or you're purposely swindling people out of good money because you're not suing anybody.
Yeah. People should be being sued for this.
Anyway,
big time.
So after having all your autoimmune disorders
all the way back to
away,
1916.
I wanted to know how the fuck did they do this? Well, back in the day with all these companies that they have with IBM, Fairlongen, and Underground, they just kept going to work. Nobody said a fucking word. Nobody said a word. Nobody said a word. The quantum systems with the IEEE and all that are on. In 2019, well, come on, let's go turn on the synchron and the brain-to-brain interface on the back end on a bigger system. What do I mean? Quantum computing, we gave the signature reduction force to people in the white vans a job and a pension. I have longer videos to prove that out. Local logistics.
Now, who has had white vans? Follow them around a little bit. I have.
Started hybridizing themselves.
They were actually cable vans, no less.
Of transhumanism. In the 90s, you had non-invasive N3, library access, NIST, NASA, and brain-to-brain web portals. 1995 in Congress. You think they knew? Then in 802.15.4 becomes commercial to all the little nerds in 2005. In 2012, Carrie Majan Group.
They're leasing out your numbers too. They're leasing out your MAC address to places like, to companies like SmartPatch, Aries Tech, things like that. So they're making money off of you.
They all get together and get told, we're doing this. We're going to be deploying in a few years, so get ready. Shut your fucking mouth about anything related to the biofield, just like they took away all of Dr. Robert Young's work in the last 3 years. And then in 2014,
right? No one said a fucking word. Well, they
available. Now with all that additional traffic now between themselves and all
they
the
did kind of
people that have now thrown in to be transhuman and take over the world, do you think they needed a bigger backbone?
Yeah. Donald Trump signed in the 5G W-band network. W-band network is the wide body area network of you and your devices and towers, everything. That's the wide body area network.
COVID has its own data center. They need to make sure that they can change out everybody on a button press remotely. That way there's no worrying about you fighting them or getting in their way. Would you believe that's what's written inside the Pentagon directive? Because it is. Yeah. They're not worried about you being able to pull your gun. They're only worried about unintended engagement and loss of control of their drones. There was no, interestingly, the Department of Defense Directive 3009 does not refer to positive outcomes as a design criterion. Department of Defense Directive 3009 defines the goal of autonomous systems to avoid negative outcomes, unintended engagement, or experience a loss of control. 2012 for implementation on the 8th of May 2017. And the wide body area network since 1995 and your biosensor since 2005 means nobody got a choice. We have human body or human bonding communication on the RF. Everyone is now a cyborg with soft robotics deployed with the biosensors that are DNA analyte derivative made out of your tissue, talking to satellites on position navigation and timing, NTS-3 accessible, no GPS needed, inside of your body. Your body is the network. Your body is the node. Your DNA is propagated.
So you were asking a question, why can't they find 280,000 children in the U.S. if they're all connected to this? With a MAC address, so they know each individual person. They track where they go, what they do, how they move, how they interact with the machine, which we all do, no matter even if you don't have a cell phone or anything. All the devices around you are watching, tracking, tracing, and monitoring you. How you doing, Nina?
Hey, I'm good. How are you doing?
Good, thanks.
Yeah,
right?
So this is very interesting. Talking about the traveling there, I was watching something and I can't remember where I was watching it now, but the the technology that was withheld from us back in the 40s, or maybe even before that, it will be coming out. And that kind of, to me, explains why they haven't, done any, nothing new as far as the aviation. Like the planes that they're using today are the same tin cans that my grandparents were traveling in, And I asked my brother that because he travels all the time. And I said, I bet you the ashtray is still there. And he says, yeah, it was. Like that ashtray is still there from the 80s and whatever, 60s.
Yeah.
And, and it's not actually even that healthy to be traveling in those things. There's a lot of radiation up there that, people aren't aware of. So that is definitely the old way of traveling. And this is why I think part of the whole, what happened here with the COVID situation, with the shutdown and everything, and with the trying to kind of ease us into the whole shutting down the airports, shutting down that whole thing, because that's not the way we're going in the future anyways. To kind of groom us, I guess, in a way. So, they have the technology of the rapid transfer thing of us. We don't need to be going in a little plane,
Yeah, that's cement, type of cement, and then the nano gel, and then fields above and below, and I guess that's how you do it. I don't know.
I don't know the technical things to it, but yeah, so they should kind of have shown us in the movies, right? We've seen Star Trek and all this.
Yeah, you get on maybe the like that circle that they took from Iraq. Maybe it was made of that type of cement.
That's the thing. I think a lot of these people who are disappearing are probably going into portals somehow.
Yeah,
there's some portals there. It kind of explains a lot of things.
I believe that Skinwalker Ranch, from her description, that could even be a portal itself.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Yeah, exactly. So things are coming in and out. People are disappearing because they're accidentally walking into these things at the right time, and whatever. And there's.
I wanted to comment on Beloved's comment here. No, she does not, Beloved, because she was the one who directed me to this paper, Kitch. You can read it yourself. A coordinate and routing system for nano networks. So no, she doesn't believe in viruses.
Yeah, that's interesting. I know I've seen this lady before.
Yeah.
Where? I don't know. So you want to look her up?
Yeah, she's trying to get onto Alex Jones. She's tried to, but he's a virus pusher. So.
Oh, is he? And also, he got taken down. I mean, they literally had to physically remove him from the building.
I think he's still going.
Well, if he is, then he's some other location. He lost his website.
The Onion was supposed to have purchased it, but that fell through because of.
It did.
Yeah, because they got into the courts about that because they didn't take the highest bid, and it was supposed to be an open auction.
Yeah.
The idea is to get the most money, right?
Right.
Auction, but they said no, it's going to be a closed auction, and we don't necessarily have to take the highest bid. So basically, we can
shows you that it was all set up. They wanted the Onion because the Onion was going to make fun of them.
Yeah.
Exactly. They don't want somebody that maybe is going to actually continue on with it. So yeah. Oh yeah, it's so rigged. The whole thing is the poor Alex. Like really, what he's going through there, like. Which makes me think that he's probably, legit just because of all the things he's going through. I don't know.
Well, he gave us a speech, and he has repeated this over and over again in one of his intros and stuff. I've heard it many times. That he has been captured by the enemy. He has now become a tool in their arsenal.
Oh, shit.
And if used properly, yes.
Huh.
I think that he has the limitation. He told us how it's done. They said you can talk about anything you want. For example, he said, except the Second Amendment. Just don't talk about gun rights. So they limit each person from talking about one thing in specific. For him,
and also about a certain race. That starts with the J.
Yeah, for him, it's viruses. So, and that.
Yeah, and he's also pushing Christianity, which to me, that seems to be the new thing now. Or not new thing, but a lot of the influencers are going on board with that. Yeah. And even, what's his name? What's his name now? Who got fired from Fox? What's his name again? Tucker Carlson. He's also swinging that way now. I read it.
Well, he had a miraculous experience apparently. So.
Yes, I was reading about that, and I was getting a little bit excited. I wanted to talk about it until I saw a little bit further into the article where he's now going religious.
Yeah.
So they got him with that as well. So, so all of them are sort of being compromised and being forced to, go the religious route.
Yeah,
The
no
church is
independence.
freaking out.
Don't be independent. You know,
Yeah,
join a
exactly. Right.
club.
Because I mean, if you believe
Join
in
this
that,
club or
then
that
you're
club,
a
right?
slave.
They're trying to get you to join a club. Is all it is.
Yes.
They
Where
want.
you give away your sovereignty, you give away your power to something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even their
Exactly.
societies, they demand that as well. You're subject to the society now.
That's true.
Anything we ask, you must do.
That is so true. I know. I've had a debate with a friend of mine. Talk about money. Why do they keep printing up money? The money doesn't mean anything. It's not worth anything. They're just printing it out of thin air, and then and so really the money doesn't mean anything, but our energy does, and they're giving us this fake money to then get an exchange of our energy in form of work or whatever it is that we're doing, right? And we're taking this fake money, which is worth nothing, but that energy that we're giving out to them, all this work that we're doing for them, that's where it's worth.
Yeah.
That's what's worth anything is our energy. And so
Yep. Well, yeah, they're going to give us a lot of trinkets right now. We're going to have good times. They're going to fix everything for you. The only thing they won't fix is the control system and what we're talking about here. And
it's
play
going
off
to be
you a
interesting to
little.
see. I'm sure that they are going to give us some gems. They kind of have to, otherwise it's not going to work, right? So they're going to have to. And everybody's on that Trump train now, so they're thinking that he's some kind of savior,
Yep. He's the Jewish Messiah too.
Well, he is the Messiah down for the Jace. That's why I was talking. Nobody talks about the Jace. We're not allowed to.
I've heard songs, children's songs about him.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, oh yeah. Like
I don't know if that was like an AI hoax or not, but
no, it's not.
It's not.
He literally has his face on their coin.
Oh wow!
Right, and he got the highest award last year in 23, July of 23. He got one of the highest awards you can possibly get.
Right.
With these people. So, and they're the ones that are in control of everything, but they gaslit that whole thing in the 40s, right? We're not allowed to talk about that anymore, right? So that's, I think once people start waking up to, I think they were onto something there in the 40s, but it was completely gaslit, the whole thing. The leader, nobody won the war. And I so wish I could sit down and talk to my grandpa now to ask him what the heck happened in the 40s.
Yeah.
Like something major happened to humanity in the 40s, and it's playing out now, but we still don't know exactly all of it, and so
Project High Jump? No. What was the
there was a few of these project things. Yeah, because all the scientists went over to America, right? Yeah. And even the leader, I don't think that he probably even passed away either. He probably just moved on somewhere else, lived out his life, I'm sure, because nobody lost, nobody won. It was just an agreement. They shook hands and sold us out, I guess. And
yeah, they are losing the narrative, Michael, so they may have to really escalate things.
Let's see, what's her name? I'm gonna see if maybe I can find her.
Who?
Did you put her name down here? This lady, if I can find her.
Green Wallet. She has she had a website.
What's her website?
She's updated that.
Oh, we took that down. Or they're maybe not able to take down a website, are they?
I don't think they can, no.
That's private. Yeah.
I have it down
You know
here.
her website?
Yes.
I can look it up if you want.
Description.
Or find her on Odyssey, did you say?
There we go.
Odyssey should be good. You found it?
Yeah, she says she's got an Odyssey, a couple of Odyssey links here. Let's see.
That's interesting. Interesting symbols she's got in there. I recognize quite a few of them.
Takes you to Truther. That's not it.
That looks like it's been taken down.
Yeah, she's got a new channel. She had a new channel for a little while on Odyssey, but I can't find it anymore. But this is her website. Doesn't look like it's really
No content found there either.
got her compiled notes.
They're
That's
taking her down, which tells you something, right? That she must be onto something if they're, going out of their way like that.
Yeah, they're not too fond of her.
Signal, no power required. And that's the
Oh,
same system
hold
that
on.
I was born to in 1979.
No
They
tower
already
required.
had
See, that's awesome.
Nobody got a choice. You have human body or human bonding communication on the RF. Everyone is now a cyborg with software
Yeah, on the RF radio frequency.
biosensors that are DNA analyte derivative made out of your tissue, talking to satellites on position navigation and timing, NTS-3 accessible, no GPS needed, inside of your body. Your body is the network. Your body is the node. Your DNA is propagating the signal. No power required. And that's the same system that I was born to in 1979. They already had because grandmother Rosicrucian and everybody else have been working on this for a couple hundred years. Databases and underground computers.
Yeah.
How do you make Greek fire? Right. So
Making records.
I'm like, what the hell are you doing? Metamaterials? And everybody goes, what's a metamaterial? And I said, well, it's not going to be enough to get it in you with radio frequency due to the line of sight problems and all the other problems that we have with electromagnetic waves and beamforming. And it wasn't enough to have your Mac ID under control with the physical stuff. No. We, for 45 grand a year, sell the ability to log into you to your loved ones that they can do an EEG overlay and they overwrite your brain tissue. Oh, you're just don't with the crazy thing because people don't really do that to me anymore. You shouldn't either.
Trump signed the 5G W ban into existence.
So La Quinta La Columna came out and said neuromodulation, neural stimulation, and neural monitoring, and it's excited by the graphene. And everybody goes, oh. And I said, yeah, and radio modulation. And that brings me full circle, radio frequency engineers. How the fuck is it that you don't know that we've had all of these systems going on with the Army, multi-domain sensing system with high accuracy detection exploitation system, patterns of life.
And the reason we have such a tight field around us, one of the reasons, is because of Dick Cheney. They were using our bodies, and he found out that somebody could actually hack into his pacemaker. So he wanted that fixed. So they tightened the field down to a centimeter above the body.
To develop the target, C4ISR, September 14th. What the hell? How is it that you don't know? Give me a break. How can that
So
be
if Dick
possible?
Cheney knows, I'm
Over
sure
and over again,
Trump
I'm
probably
sitting here
knows.
trying to figure out why it is that none of you will open up and say anything to anybody, given that you guys have to be the ones that know how this is being executed. But it's demonstrated by the questions I keep getting. They're like, what are you talking about? Well, guys, when you get rid of our wireless body part and you tell everybody nothing exists except what they can see, you get rid of frequency, oscillation, cymatics, the power of sound, optics, radionics, and anything plasma derivative. Good fucking job. Because they connected this wireless body part to telephony in 1922, and they've been doing anything they want to ever since. You didn't tell anybody about synthetic telepathy in 1995. You didn't tell anybody about the wide body area network. You didn't tell anybody about the biosensors, so our youth have been biohacking. Now, damn it, Janet, this 1,500 year or 300 year, however long plan, we get Galileo and Copernicus out there.
Hi, Mr. Obvious.
And say, here, we're going to science now. We killed everybody with the Spanish Inquisition that could read books. Go. But that only lasted for 200 years. And that was only in private universities that you were allowed to learn. Then they start killing everybody again until they get back to the 1960s. Why does that matter? For those of you that don't understand from radio frequency what Langland's equation is, or the Rosetta Stone of mathematics, that took us to a new type of quantum encryption to break all the bit series old encryption, with the L function and the meromorphic changing out the polaritons and poles on the complex plane of any toroidal field that we wanted to for modification of the electromagnetic stimulation with quantum underground
Michigander.
Quantum space.
It is criminal, I think.
You took away the body part. Got everybody all fucking confused because they think that it doesn't exist. Put the body part back, and it's real simple. They're piloting you around like a synth. No. Yeah. Because the Project Looking Glass, whoa, that routing radio frequency through the body, 802.15.45 and 6. And then once we line it up with your DNA, well, we have DNA steganography. Did you know that your DNA stores a fuck ton of data for the government? Because it does.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have your chemical, biological, radiological, and nuclear stiffs that are equally made out of your DNA to protect them from a biofrequency weapon and something called prima materia. Welcome to Project Pandora. I can walk into a liminal space. I can walk into a bioweapon frequency secure skiff. Perfect. Why? Because I'm going to invade the world with my MQ-9 Reapers, pretty fucking magical technology. I showed a picture of a Reaper in 1953. So the medical implant communication system comes online, and we're chipping humans with RFID. The MAC IDs, I was born with one in me in 1979. The HemiSync is the EEG brain connectomes, which is what we use when we're logging in and out because the neuronal loop is closed, says Janich from Machine Learning, who I take the synergist to point out you don't need to lie about what a MAC ID is and what it does.
Alex Jones won't talk to her.
It is a medium access control derivative, and the people out there in radio frequency that work with old equipment or don't know about the body area network, they're like, well, how is it changing all the time? Because you're dealing with WSN, which is wireless sensor networks at a very small scale, and they're moving around and they're talking to each other and recombining themselves. Oh, so Janich in Machine Learning, he's got quite a few subscribers, and so does Anastasia on Tech. And they talk about all the neuron to neuron, brain to brain I'm talking about. Where are you? Probably watching The Sun, which said in December of 2022, oh, yeah, we'll need chips in our head in 2100
I think so.
Anybody can have
for somebody.
How convenient. What if you're born with it? Well, they're going to take it away from you.
Yeah.
Why would they do that? Well, they have brain imaging libraries like Bill to commit changes with CRISPR-Cas9 to your proteins, your peptides, your amino chains, your amino acids. Then we take
a great thing happened the other day, though. One of the synergists got on there and got asked that question that I just posed, a while ago. If they have us, why aren't they finding these children? He said, he got out the numbers. He said they need to turn on the 802.15 network and find all those people with their MAC addresses. And he got that out, and suddenly Alex Jones had technical difficulties, couldn't hear him. But they did broadcast it. Maybe that was Alex Jones letting something slip.
Interesting. Transcriptome and proteomics rewrites your proteins, your brain connectomes, again, about that brain colon brain. It has to be secure for transfer of information by cybersecurity standards. So HemiSync and the EEG and the brain are in there with the connectome, testing for DNA sequence patterning and how you behave around other people. If you think you're astral projecting, you're actually in the back end of a computer for neuron-colon-neuron exchange and your plasma core structure underground that matches your DNA.
So when we're remote viewing, we could be actually viewing in a system.
You could be what?
We could be remote viewing or astral traveling within a computer system or network.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Which brings us back to the Matrix thing.
It does. It's
right.
Building a matrix around us, mind control.
Yeah.
IBM computers. So who's doing all this? Same people that I always saw: medical, sheriff, police, lawfare, Maine military, paramilitary, black projects, geospatial, and Silicon Valley. And why are they doing this? Because they can just log into your ass with Geomancer, determine your location with their lovely little curated data labeling and data curation databases the DoD sold off at the Artificial Intelligence September conference in 2020, symposium rather. Amazing Polly explains in Rwanda how we went down and shot aerosolized nano in the air. But we have to have communication that is secure between certain soldiers. And for that, you're back to the 802.15.6, modify their biosensors. You can save them from the chemical warfare or the aerosolized by popping different types of bioelectric code and wireless tissue engineering healing. And then the wireless sensor networks can relay on all the other humans that you want to do something different. In the very same way, the spells that we cast on people and save in our spell books over on the GitHub, I have vector or feature values when they go into a vector after they've mapped the coordinate with Geomancer. And those feature values are your Digi-ID. So they could be anything. And what we do is we order a drone, take a picture over your home of real time with the access that we have, and then we can fire up a generative adversarial neural network, an artificial neural network, or whatever we want, electrocute the air molecules around your head and execute a terahertz bullet, or whatever we want. And that's with your NTS-3, again, position, navigation, and timing of your biosensors, 802.15.4. Starting to see how it's kind of a big fucking deal that you laced everyone's ass to the cloud and told them nothing. And then we had, oh, well, you just can't take pain. Oh, it's a fake brain tumor, but we don't know why. Oh, you're having seizures that make your eyes go bloodshot. We don't know why. Lupus, Lou Gehrig's disease, all the autoimmune disorders. Oh, there's nothing we can do. When you electrocute humans through their own tissue and you don't tell them, and you force their immune system to electrically adhere to nanotech or another body in a different electrical way than what your red blood cells and your neurons need to function, you end up with an autoimmune disorder, an automatic immune fucking
This is not medical
problem
advice.
with
This
the
is
order
just
of
speculation.
operation because you're electrocuting them. Yeah, that's what the biosensors do. Oh, so now because no
So
one said
doomed.
a fucking thing about subtly electrocuting people, there's your nanomorgellons. Cancer's not my story to tell, but they tell you on the Daily Mail, give you cancer, take it away in 15 minutes. We've had that capability since 1995. Now it's sudden adult death syndrome. Fuck you some more. And no.
No, they fear us. They fear us knowing into groove because if we knew, we could turn it off quite quickly.
How do we turn it off?
Well, the people would do it. The people that are operating it. They need operators, right?
Mm.
So it's not them going down and pushing a button, you know. So yeah.
No accountability for all this testing that they did with the vaccinations at the different
Knowledge is key.
Scales, none of it, not a fucking bit of it.
That's true.
So what did we end up with? Full circle. The 6G low personal area network, your ass is attached to the cloud. The signal is propagating from you, your body,
That's right,
your
Big
DNA.
Justin.
Turn off the signal
Entertainment
for
purposes
Ebola,
only.
killing off your loved ones in front of your face. Stop your DNA. Now, that's terrifying. That's real doom pilling. Yeah, that's cybersecurity.
There you go, beloved.
Stop the signal. You have to stop the DNA because the body area network is where the signal is coming from. So it won't go away unless you stop the DNA. So you radio frequency people think you might want to get caught up on a technology from 1995? If that's really the situation that we're in? Because the metamaterials are about to make it transhuman very serious. And I will go ahead
Well,
and
that
pull up
sucks, Mr. Mission.
the metamaterial guy again, just for you radio frequency hams and people. I have a lot of respect for you guys. I'm very surprised if you don't know. Now's the time. But just like the dudes on the hobby farms, maybe y'all been hanging out in your basements doing cool stuff like you do with your equipment to do testing, and just like the Baba Black Sheep guys who fly their drones for the
She
deliveries,
is.
trying to teach young people how cool it is to build a circuit board yourself and make it communicate. And they've weaponized everything, made it super ugly and very difficult to communicate with anybody about this stuff. And
Wrench.
especially
Do you know
now,
how to
given
have a
that
wrench?
warfare technology is electrical, and that means telepathy, empathy, and precognition.
I don't always
the
check.
natural
I have to go to
abilities
YouTube to
of
check.
neurons. Those are now the hot commodity. Nobody understands what's going on because you won't admit that they created a cyber physical backbone because they needed more throughput. And my sign for that is for some reason missing. So I'll come back with that.
Street
Synthetic
one.
biology. Please take a look at my synthetic biology videos for the glossary and terms. And thank you for the people using NanoWork as a touch point. And I hope
for
that this
Indy.
is the simple explanation that doesn't sound bitchy towards you. I'm just so furious. They didn't tell anybody it's a body part because, as you can see, when you get back down to cybersecurity, turn your DNA off. Guys, who's going to want to hear that?
How do you turn your DNA off?
Yeah, you can.
So it's the W band.
She teaches pyroerection, which is a way to stop the system from logging into you.
It's your body
At least for a
part.
period.
You're the best person to know how it works. And if you knew that precognition and empathy are the two most common neuronal abilities, it's not psychic, it's psi on it. Which is why my website is Psynergy. Psi plus energy equals synergy. As in your own biofield, your own psionic abilities, my own neurons. I don't need a wearable to be a telepath or a telekinetic.
Yeah, we have a huge biofield, and it can be extended
They
out.
purposely practice wireless tissue engineering. That means suppressing your growth, your internal organs, and stunting your brain tissue. No maybes. So if we're actually going to find a way through this, we need people to be honest about what's already been deployed and what is in play with the wide body area network. We can't afford to keep spinning around it, protecting sensor hunters and pretending that it's going to get better. The people that want these systems to change, they're not but murdered for over 20 years. And they want to murder me like every 5 minutes. So now I'm going to go take a walk. God bless y'all out there. I have other videos to load, but I'm loading these first for the people who genuinely asked. Can you please break it down for me as simple as possible?
So we can't find her, eh? We can't find her work anywhere? Like,
she's on Rumble, says Real Colin. Can you post a link? I don't think I'm on Rumble.
I'm on Rumble.
Are you?
Yeah, I got 2 accounts over there, actually. Let's see if I can
A lot of it, unless you search out the terms and understand the systems that she's talking about, it can be a little bit over your head. When she's mentioning a lot of systems, what you have to understand is they're like broadcast communication systems. Watch a few of her videos and search out the terms that she's using. She does give you, like, she taught me how to search out the documents to find. Like I was searching for them saying, like, the first document she found for me was one just saying, that they are in fact using the human body as an antenna, in the W band, because I've had debates with people on both sides of this that saying that they're not using us for an antenna. That's not what's happening. It's all the wearable stuff, like and the phones. It has nothing to do with your body, which you can pretty well prove it. It really does.
Yeah, I got her here. She's got over 5,000 followers on this Rumble account.
Yeah, she keeps moving around. She shut down her channel on Odyssey.
Which is weird, because Odyssey is a pretty safe place.
She was getting threats. That's why.
Okay. I gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know why she didn't reopen on Odyssey, but because she's going to get just as many threats over on.
Well, yeah. I mean, it doesn't matter where you go. They're going to find you. So,
yeah.
Unless you got a private thing, but yeah. Wow. Yeah, so there's a lot of videos here to binge watch, I guess, eh?
Yeah.
Pages and pages.
You help me find documents like this: Human Body, the Future Communication Channel for W-band. This was written back in 2014. So, yeah. She was very instrumental in a lot of the research I do right now.
Well, there you go.
Did somebody? Okay, somebody did post her channel there. Let me go and see if I can get in there.
Yeah, they posted her channel. I put mine in there too, if anybody wants to follow me. It's mainly that one channel there. It's just mainly Robert and I's videos that go up there. All the other stuff doesn't.
Psynergy on hold. That might be her Odyssey channel too.
Odyssey?
I'm going to check. Psynergy on hold is what she called herself.
Yeah, there she is. I'll follow her.
Okay, yeah, I am joined to her and following her.
There you go.
What we know about 7G after 5 and 6G. Nano biosensing.
Yeah, you notice that nobody's really talking about the 5G thing anymore now. That was like a big taboo thing there for a while.
Yeah.
You notice that? Yeah, because it was kind of weird, because going back to the first footage we saw from when the pandemic happened, right, which was from back in China, and people are stooping over. Well, it was just in that one area. And so everybody, and that was one of the first places that they turned that on. And that was the whole, buzz back then, right? That's what's causing it. And to be honest, when you think about it, every time they have introduced some kind of new technology, right, whether it be radio or whatever it is, we have some kind of flu outbreak, don't we, around that time?
Oh, yeah. My wife got Hong Kong flu when FM radio came to our area.
Yeah, so there's something to it, right? So as they're changing things now, obviously our bodies are going to be going through another adjustment,
Yeah.
and we're going to get flu-like symptoms when that happens. And so that's probably why the whole thing happened in the first place. It's an excuse as to why everybody's feeling like they got the flu right about now.
Yeah. Going all the
Depending
way
on
back to the
how
Spanish
you
flu, you know.
Yeah, depending on how you personally react to radiation and whatnot. So some people, are manifesting diseases, as she's talking about. I know a lot of people who, have lupus and MS and all these things, and makes you wonder, right? Is it because they're more sensitive to it, maybe, than
Yeah.
we
So,
are?
yeah. And I think it depends a lot on how it wires itself through you. Like some people, it might wire itself through an organ. Some people, it might go through a gland. For me, it went through my teeth.
Huh.
Uh, you know,
Yeah.
so different things. But the thing is, under Canadian law, you cannot sue the company for any medical issues that a cell tower or the technology causes. You can only stop a cell tower from being put up because if it affects the property value.
Now, where do we consent to that?
We did, you know, we did.
So
Any,
shouldn't we be able to do something then?
and
You
they're
know,
charging you for the use of the internet that they're routing through you.
that's true. I know.
You know,
Yeah, there's no reason why we shouldn't be able to just pick out from the ether everything. And that's what Tesla was trying to tell us. But of course, they gaslit him, you know. So, yeah, I know. We got to go back to the old technology, and stuff.
yeah.
And,
Well, there's also the fact that, or in this M-Wave document I have, it shows the usage of cell tower power, and we use 600 times the power of most other nations. We don't like China does. Well, China's on the list of the highest too, but they're not as high as us.
well, they got a high population. So obviously, the more population, the more power you're using, right?
No, no, no. It's just
No?
for trans. No, it's just the power level of transmission, which can be lower. It
Huh.
can be much lower, and you can still transmit at the same rate. But it's the power level they're using for the same average density population. It doesn't matter that. Like in China, the devices are more prevalent than here, but they don't use the power level that we do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so there's things like that. That could be changed, going to more of a wired technology. You know, getting off the wireless, or if everybody wants this wireless technology, they have the capability of using it to heal everybody, really.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
By some of the documents that they're working on, that's what they're working towards, really.
Mm-hmm.
In the documents
Well,
they're sharing.
yeah, I mean, this is really old technology because you go back to the temples. They were originally designed as a healing place. You go in there for healing, and it is all with frequency, vibration, like when you look at the organ that they play in the churches. A real organ. They called it organ because it actually does something to your organs. It's supposed to heal you. And when you go into the old churches that still have that kind of stuff going on, this is why you feel so good when you leave there, and why you want to give away your 10%, because you just got some kind of, a healing done there, just with the organ, with the vibration of that organ. So
I grew up in a church with an organ in it.
there you go. So you remember that. Yeah.
They went to speakers instead. They switched out all they took out all the pipes.
Oh,
Speakers,
yeah, that's not the same. Yeah, that's not the same. Yeah, I remember that too. I grew up in Norway, and we had one of the biggest cathedrals around there. And I was actually baptized and confirmated in that cathedral. And so, I've been there a few times. And yeah, when they start playing that thing, I mean, shit, yeah, you can feel it. Like it vibrates through you. Just like music, some music makes you feel good. Some music makes you, angry, you know what I mean? Or gives you goosebumps, you know, when you hear, and that's all the vibration that comes from that, you know? And so imagine it on a bigger scale where it's actually healing your body, you know? So this
Yeah.
whole med bed, they probably already have them. I've heard about these med beds. I don't know if it's just a made up thing, but I'm sure they have something like that could heal you. Yeah.
They do. They've already got it. You don't need a big med bed. You don't need an implant. You don't need Elon Musk's little hole in your head. You don't need any of it.
Nobody needs a hole in their head. I mean, come on now.
Hold on.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Yeah, I know. Talking about the chips and everything. Well, they already got that. I know Trump is a big advocate for that, by the way.
Super Patch is the most advanced wearable technology in the market, with 15 plus years of research and development. Super Patches are 100% drug-free, non-invasive, and backed by science. Our skin absorbs and transmits information from many different types of stimulation. Every physical, emotional, and psychological function has a corresponding neural code or message in our brain that controls and regulates it. Due to factors such as injury, stress, genetics, etc., these neural codes can get disrupted, leading to poor health, wellness, and performance. At Super Patch, we've decoded these neural messages that manage the neural control of physical, emotional, and psychological functions. Every single Super Patch has a unique pattern of ridges in it, similar to a QR code. When these ridges come in contact with our skin, the receptors in and around our skin send a message to our brain, which then decodes it. This intricate pattern of ridges is known as vibrotactile technology, or VTT for short. When the patch stimulates the skin receptors, it generates and sends a very complex signal to our brain to correct the specific neural codes that may be disrupted. The effects are almost immediate. So you focus less on overcoming wellness and quality of life challenges and more on living a happier and healthier life. Whether it's improving your sleep, enhancing your sports performance, or unlocking other life-enhancing benefits, Super Patch has you covered.
Amazing.
Try Super Patch today and start your health and wellness journey. www.superpatch.com.
How's that work, eh?
Yeah, it's scary. You never know, you know. Yeah.
We want to get rid of all the negative effects of what we're broadcasting around the world.
Yeah.
We can sell you this patch for $60 a month. And,
I mean, is it really any different than, say, smoking a joint? I mean, we're changing our, how we feel. We're changing our attitude. We're changing everything by smoking.
I imagine they could just make you a joint patch.
Yeah, well, that's what I was thinking. Like this will kind of be in lieu of having to smoke a joint, or I saw somebody was talking about, alcohol in here. A lot of people are reaching out for that.
Well, it's a little more, some of the effects are covered by that. Some of them aren't. Like they can increase your balance up to 30%. They can increase your strength.
Yeah. So if you're getting older and you're getting a little more frail, it might not be a bad idea.
Ability to learn.
You want to go to the nursing home or take a patch, and have your mobility back.
They have patches for it.
Yeah, I know. So,
it's for depression.
I know.
No,
you can see the positive and the negative here, right? This could be used for good and it can be used for bad. And that's pretty much technology in a nutshell.
Right. If we're being wired through as the internet, why aren't they giving us these patches for free?
Yeah, well, it should just be automatic.
Increasing my ability to learn, my strength, my stamina. Why aren't they doing that for me?
Yeah, exactly.
Why aren't they doing that for everybody?
Exactly. Well, no, because the big Pharmacare, right? They want to make their shekels. So they're not in the business of curing anybody. Doctors are just practicing, okay? And somebody's making a lot of shekels on this, right? So that's
on both ends, right? They're making you get billed for the use of the internet, and then they bill you for the cure.
Yeah,
got you covered. Coming and going.
I have a personal story there. I was just before Christmas last year, actually. I got a call, a positive call from my doctor saying, hey, it turns out it was nothing. But he was sad when he told me about this. Like he sounded so depressed that, oh yeah, sorry, it was nothing. Because he didn't make any money on that. Yeah. He wanted to refer me to another specialist now. He wanted to write me a prescription for something. But so this, I'm like, I couldn't believe it. Like, shouldn't you be happy for me that there was nothing? Like, you know what I mean? Like, as a human being, you know, never mind my family doctor, right? No, he's depressed about this.
Yeah, my doctor wanted to do endless blood tests so he could,
he was hoping to make a lot of shekels on this, you know. Yeah, it just baffles me.
I just eventually said, you know what? No, because I wasn't complaining of any symptoms. He just saw something in my blood that he should look at.
Right. Yeah. Endless.
So I haven't been to him in years, and I went to him a couple of years ago, and he said, "Where, like,
oh, Bruce,
nurse there, where have you been?" I go, "Well, what do you mean?" "Well, we haven't seen you." I said, "Well, I don't get sick, so you know, what's the problem?
I know, right?
What do I need you for? What do I need to come there for? You know, so you guys can try and find a pill to give me, I guess. I don't know." Yeah, Brucey's all
I know. Too. That's the thing. They're not in the business of curing anybody because there's no money in that, and it goes all the way down to the poor pharmacist or the pharmacist assistant. You know, there'll be a lot of jobs gone if we were all walking around all healthy all the time now.
Yeah.
But Scotty was asking the guy that we did a memorial for, Brucey Saul. Yeah. So he had a channel, and he was, got threats and all kinds of things as well, showing us what's going on up at the moon there. And sure enough, he was 49 years old. I mean, come on.
I followed him for years.
Yeah, I followed him for a while too, and it's like, wow. So it looks to me that they got him. Yeah. So hopefully this lady here will be okay. Because if you're showing something that, they don't want you to see, then,
well, she's very sensitive to the attacks, so and that's why she teaches piloerection, giving yourself goosebumps.
Okay. So that's
because what that does, it shuts the system out of your body. You can look it up. It changes the electric potential of your skin. I don't know if it's from positive to negative, probably, and that shuts them out.
So even going back to the, listening to the organ or certain music that gives you goosebumps, Yeah, there you go. See, it's healing you on all kinds of levels.
Yeah. And, if you can get somebody to give you goosebumps some way, or give yourself goosebumps by running your hand up, some people can do it quite easily. Back of the neck, get somebody to rub their fingers up the back of your neck and give you goosebumps.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't know, maybe sex for some. All kinds of ways. Cold, hot and cold.
Yeah.
That can give you goosebumps. Just anything that'll give you get your hair standing on end.
Mm-hmm.
That'll apparently shut out the system. So if
right on, I'll have to do that more often. Yes. That's the thing. Like, we're sitting here, talking like this. Like, we know that obviously we're going to have a target on us now, aren't we?
Been there for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, me too. I mean,
actually, what I was going to mention this. What I've noticed is we have a lot of new people here. There are people coming to my channel.
Awesome. Welcome, people.
Since Trump got in, there have been an uptick in the number of subscribers and people who are finding my channel.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah. Well,
hi, Dio. Good to see you.
I haven't noticed that myself, but my channel is so small now. Having to start all over again. So if you guys haven't, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'll be going live tonight, actually, at 6:00 Pacific time zone. If you guys want, we're going over the Anunnaki now, but we did episode 1 last week, and right away, now I have a whole nother question about the Cro-Magnon people. Like, so it sounds to me there was something here before the Anunnaki. So it's almost like, why even bother going through the whole thing? I wanna know about that now.
Yeah, there were peoples here before the Anunnaki.
Yeah, and apparently these Cro-Magnon or whatever, they were pretty advanced. Apparently.
Yeah, they think that one of the theories is that they might have been the demigods.
Okay. Yeah. See, this is where I want to go now right away, and I only got one episode.
I think was on about possibly them going around and interbreeding with various populations and creating us.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And we only are using 2 out of the 12 DNA strands. All the other 10 strands are just sitting there dangling. Can you imagine if we fused those back and had all 12 going? You know what we could be doing. You know, all these things that we think are superpowers. Those are our actual powers, people. Like, we're supposed to be doing all that stuff.
Yeah, some people think that our DNA has been fused together at one point, but not others. Yeah, it could be that our entire DNA needs to be fused. I don't know. Yeah,
they dumbed us down because they didn't want us to live that long. They didn't want us to have all the powers. You know, they just want us to be smart enough to operate the machinery, but not smart enough to ask why, you know, or anything else for that matter. And so, we seem to come to this point where we're asking too many questions, and then they want to, you know, take us back down to square one again. You know. So seems like we've had 6? Is it 6? We're the 6th advanced species here.
I don't know.
Or
I've seen other ones around. I've seen others that have been wiped out.
Yeah, so we're number 6. So this has happened 5 times.
Pyramids, I think, have at least 2 or 3 levels of use. 2 or 3 things they've made it through. Hi, Turamir. Good to see you. You know, so. And then there's North America here. They've got these huge lines that run over the landscape to these square structures in the land. And they just go for miles, but I don't know what they are, you know. Just long areas of wilderness where nothing will grow, you know. Yeah.
And what's underneath there?
I don't know.
Well, that's
no, it's just like long roads. It's like long roads they made however long ago. They're still there. Yeah.
Well, I see. Okay. Yeah, I must say, the built things a lot more, long lasting back in the day.
No trees or shrubs will grow on it. And it's in these long strips that go for miles and miles and miles.
Interesting.
Yeah. So who knows how many levels of civilization have been here in White.
Right?
I'm a multi-cataclysm guy. I think there's been several. At least 2 for sure, I think. So
makes you wonder, you know, the question, you know, should we leave something behind in case, you know, we do this again for the next, you know, gen? I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, we had that conversation.
Society put its ass together and stop being so easy to divide and stuff.
And I guess doing it on tablets would be the way to do it, because paper doesn't last long. A technology that can be gone. How would you write down a note for somebody? You know, I know Robert and I had that conversation a while back.
Well, just the way the ancient did, you know, do it.
Yeah, so that's kind of makes sense why they did that, because that literally, has lasted, you know, for however long it's been there. Yeah. So that's kind of what we have to do. So, but nobody wants to do that. Who the heck wants to sit there and chisel in, you know, on.
Yeah. Well, I suppose a stone worker, if we got a mason, you know. So.
Yeah, somebody would have to know. I couldn't do it. Oh, I would make a mess out of that stone. Yeah, it would have to be somebody that knows what they're doing. And maybe there's even a machine that could do it, you know?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. CNC machine.
Yeah. Sure. Because you want to do it nice, and it's got to be, you know, it's got to look good.
You do it with water and burrow it right through the entire stone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, lasers. Yep. You got lots of ways of chiseling out stone now.
Yeah, I bet you they do. Yeah. Yeah. What would you say to the next people that would come? I would have to start all over again.
I don't know.
I mean, do you go back to just how to make fire?
I
But then
suppose I would write put the Odyssey in there and a few other classics of the Greeks to start, because I think they're most accurate to our history, to our real history.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was kind of why I'm going through the Anunnaki book or Sitchin's books, essentially, because I haven't read them and I want to kind of read it for myself, But like I said, the first thing I found now was the Cro-Magnon thing. So now I'm like, oh, shit, yeah.
I don't think the Anunnaki were really from like space or a different planet. I think they were from here, but they descended on Mount Hermon. Okay, well, I descended on a town, descended on, people descend on many things,
Mm-hmm. Well, those were the
Igigi. Armies descend on all kinds of stuff,
Yeah, it was the Igigi that landed on Mount Hermon, right?
Mm-hmm.
That some people call fallen angels, but really they were the Igigi, which were the working class Anunnaki that were stationed up in Mars. But there was no women. They didn't bring any women with them. So it was just a whole bunch of dudes up there.
Yeah.
And they got pissed off, like, fuck this shit, right? We want women, and we don't want to have to do all the hard work. You know what I mean? So they revolted and fell, and they don't really fall. They just came down here. But yeah, apparently they landed on Mount Hermon, which is on the 33-degree belt there or whatever it is. So there's some certain energy to it, I guess. Definitely on a bucket list to go and visit those areas. But hey, with this new travel technology, that might be doable. You can just go over there, come back the same day. You don't have to be there for days. No more airports.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like the whole airport thing. That's why I don't travel now. I'm like, I'm done with that. Like,
yeah. We remote viewed. What was it? Skinwalker Ranch, right? And
yeah.
Pretty much, it looked like a portal.
Yeah, that's what's going on there. Yeah,
these stones embedded in the there's a shape there. It kind of resembles a mermaid, sideways, but it's got these stones embedded in it. These long, rectangular stones embedded in it, all the way around the perimeter, like you would with magnets on a motor.
Mm-hmm.
And I wonder if those are put there for to enable the portal to work, Want to hear a little bit about 6 and 7G?
Have you been looking into that? Yeah, I guess that's the next route, right? They're not going to tell you; they just do it.
Yeah,
I don't even know what we're on.
Already out there.
So that's probably why there's going to be another, a bit of a flu season coming.
At the Psynergy channel. And as it turns out, in the past, we were challenged very heavily that the 7G did not exist. The 6G does not exist. And the country of the UK, with their MI6 type of J-trig, sent out their cult members to come attack me at the level of people like Mark Steele. And all we did
cubes all over.
Is talk about the wireless communications industry. It's very disappointing to me that cybersecurity now has a place in conspiracy theory. That is what has happened. When we are unable to talk about the same wireless communication industry that we're all using right now to communicate, which is your IEEE. They're the ones who set the standards going down from the ITU and all these other places.
They set the health standards too.
Professional home for the engineering and technology community worldwide is your IEEE, Advancing Technology for Humanity. So it was not to my chagrin, but minor surprise when, in preparation for today's show with Juxtaposition, he's the one that sent me this article, because the people that I communicate with, except for one, there's only one person who was willing to talk about the 7G and field all the tomato throwing, screaming, yowling, and arguments, and that would be non-vaxxer 420. And I'm going to highlight this again to those of you out there who don't like his attitude with you on the Twitter or the X. With his 48,000 followers, the man continues to hold the biggest library of the IEEE, which I just showed you, nano.gov, which is your National Nanotechnology Institute. He has all of the different institutions that support Professor Akhildes. He has Dr. Joseph Jornet with the optogenetics research. He has your cybersecurity expert, Ryan Velli. He has your mad scientist bioconvergence meetings, the real ones.
You have to sign up to view these meetings. And in order to sign up, you have to have accreditation with an institution like the IEEE or others that are associated with it. So the average person cannot get this information.
Right.
The actual places where they met, where they spoke, the real transcript of what they say in business. That is not a conspiracy. This is not a conspiracy, but we sure wish it was. So I made a comment in my last video where I was like, hey, coffee, let's go. And folks, I might have been a little surprised. I hope not. The IEEE is not conspiracy theory. These are jobs. These are some of the brightest minds in our world working to build systems of biological and digital convergence.
Yep.
That is not a conspiracy theory, nor should it ever be relegated as such.
Every country has a plan for biodigital convergence.
So if you are on the Synergy channel,
every country,
and your fingers are busted, well, then you go get a Synergy.
Did you agree to that?
Send you some recordings and look things up.
What's that?
So that
Did you agree to biodigital convergence?
Because your fingers are busted. You can't type in
They're doing it.
IEEE.org to verify that the documentation that I'm going to be reading to you is direct from symposiums such as the 2022 International Conference on Electronics, Information, and Communication, ICEIC. You're going to have a tough time when we talk about the future directions of the IEEE with the 7G. Back in 2019, I have a different paper for that too. This is a very disturbing topic, in my opinion, because of the way adults are behaving. These are jobs. If it's good enough to be part of the ITU, it should be good enough for you, whoever you are.
I don't care,
We're
Scotty.
not talking about anything on the Synergy channel unless I tell you this is conjecture. And I have a right to think, and I have a right to be wrong. But I will tell you it's conjecture. I survived DARPA non-invasive N2. Again, this video is here for those coming from the Juxtaposition channel who may not know this about me. And many people on my channel have similar stories. The DARPA N2 program is currently archived over at darpa.mil. The scars are on my body. The medical records have been loaded onto the internet at least 7 different times. There's no reason to argue about DARPA N2. Go read about it, and it shows you. Develop sensors. What's the difference between what happened next? DARPA's N3 is a nano lobotomy, non-surgical, non-invasive, nano, bi-directional,
I have that document.
brain-machine interfaces. Non-invasive. Could be magnetic nano, could be regular in the air type of electrical field or other types
lobotomy?
of access, so long as it is not.
Is that a lobotomy? Is that what he said?
And
No.
I said nano lobotomy.
She did.
Lobotomy.
Yeah.
Wow.
She
So
did,
when
yeah.
I say things, and like right now, these links will be there. It is not my job to convince you of anything.
That's
I'm
probably
giving
what
you
Musk is up to
sources.
right now.
Decide for yourself.
Yeah.
Like an adult.
That chip that they're going to put in there, that's probably you're getting a lobotomy. Yeah.
You watch her enough,
Biological
they don't need that
digital
chip.
Convergence.
They can do
And
it without it.
reason that the
That's
majority
a whole,
of
that's a whole side.
Right.
in the alleged truther community do not like this Canadian single dad, non-vaxxer 420, has nothing to do with his cussing. It has nothing to do with what he says. They just want to ignore him because nobody online that I've been able to find has as many actual forums of data from CERN directly, from the IEEE directly, from machine learning directly, Professor Akhildes directly, the National Institute of Health directly.
That's the plan.
National Science Foundation. It's all here in one place on the Rumble. So when you go to the Rumble and you're busy blowing your brain cells out with sports and other stuff, not everybody wants bread and circus.
A lobotomy, that's when they take a straw, stick it up your nose, and scramble your brains.
If they're allowed to go to work, and they do, if they have criteria they must meet for engineering, and they do, and if they've got college textbooks to purchase, they have symposiums to read, and they do, and that is where you will find many of us here on the Psynergy channel, because we want to know. We don't want to argue with you about the existence of a 140-year paid professional organization. That's on you. Now, I received this from Juxtaposition. I had not seen it. It is from April 2022. The evolution of mobile technology is growing fast to the extent that we are talking about generations of the internet that won't be settled until 20 years. In other words, we are still deploying 5G, and people are thinking about 6 and 7G, with 6G taking the majority of research and industry. Predictions claim that 6G should become a reality around 2035, meaning that people will start using it. There's already some news we've covered of a 6G breakthrough in China. This is in 2022. The cellular wireless generation between 5, 6, and 7G refers to speed, system, frequency, and technology changes. Each generation has some standards, capacities, new features, etc., which differentiate it from the previous one. Now, right away, I take umbrage with this. I'm going to show you why.
Good to see you. Posted the link a little while back.
6G and beyond from Semantic Scholar from the IEEE Access, July 2020.
Go for another half hour.
Computer science, physics, and the outlay for their test bed to standardization starting in 2022, because the 5G projects are up here, and you have Horizons Europe and New Horizons Canada, which is your biological to digital convergence. The 6G vision is already up and running in 2020. 2022, they're still working on it. By 2023, requirements are running. When we go standard, you're talking about 2026 evaluation period to be.
So it's already going.
Changes and upgrades that are permanent now. No more 5G flipping around. Now we've got everybody standardized to 6G in 2026. Projected timeline for 6G and beyond systems. That's 2026, not 2035. But the article we're reading is Inside Telecom. This is like a magazine for the telecommunications industry, so that the people, like the gentleman that I used to work with, who was the senior engineer on the cable plant side, these types of magazines will come in to myself, to people like him, as electrical engineering people who had to observe the architecture of the entire network, including utility plant changes and other things that we would have to bury with bucket trucks. So this is the type of stuff that when you're talking about deploying new fiber, new copper, because new fittings, new routers, new switches, that's a lot of work. Not to mention you have to plan your downtime. You can't just take a network down whenever you want to. So they get magazines like this to keep an eye out for what the regulations are going to be. See, if you don't want to update your network right away, for whatever reason, could be security, it might be a lot of reasons, then you can do that. But the test beds are up here in 2026.
Again, thank you for all the links you guys share.
2035.
Yeah, right, G?
And this paper is from 2020. And that's the difference between a Semantic Scholar white paper direct to the IEEE type of timeline and reading the magazine about it as a business person, whether ownership or some type of job in making those decisions on behalf of a company of what you're looking at. So, and they say this in the sentence. Now, why am I taking so much time to prove this? Because people love to shut their brains down, especially when it's frightening. I just want to stop.
It's horrifying.
I want to believe it's just a prediction. It's not here. You put our channel through this hell all of last year. Good creators, really smart men and women. And you lied. You said it wasn't here, it wasn't coming. That's disgusting. Why? What is the 6G? The addition of something called the personal area network with all those metamaterials, right?
Ooh, I haven't looked that up. Personal area
What
network.
do I always tell you when you're afraid to talk about this?
UTAB.
1995 is when they started the personal area network. Now, Battelle Laboratories in the Air Force Cognitive Research Programs and DARPA are now talking about bidirectional brain interface. It is here.
Yay.
It is already here. They're working with it with the
Isn't that
University
great?
of Miami. We have neuroshields and neuroweapons over at Rice Institute. Okay. Battelle, bidirectional brain-computer interface. When I was experimenting.
Don't forget, when you're watching her
as a
videos,
child,
open up
which
other
is where a
tabs,
bunch
search
of
out what
this
she's saying,
legit
and you'll
comes
be able to catch
They
up
don't
to what
tell
she's
anybody
talking about. That's
what
how you
they're
do
doing.
it. Do your
The next
research.
thing you know,
Unfortunately, you have
here
to
it
with
all
this.
is, we're going to do it. How does it work? They're not telling you that. Our channel is, which is why, if you are a creator, yes, it matters. I was born in 1979 with a beacon-enabled Mac ID. I do not appreciate this type of hell also being visited upon the world, my own children, everybody, without any sort, none whatsoever of admission of how it works. It's right here. These are the same biosensors they were testing on me. Prove it. Oh, I love it when you ask me to do that. What does it say? WPAN. W-band technology started around what? 1995? Yeah. Same biosensors too, right? Yeah. 802.15.4. What I have taught the synergists to do, because you can do it from here. It's right
Remember
here.
those numbers.
802.15 working group for that wireless personal area network. But an easier way to see it is Semantic Scholar again. It's going to put it in a row for you. The 802.15 WPAN 1995 working group has the body area network, all the mesh around your head, your Bluetooth low energy, and your millimeter wave. Been around a long time. And just because you're not in an industry that is developing and working with these products, you don't get to take the entirety of cybersecurity and all of our Mockingbird Press. But you people out there that claim to be alt, whatever, you should be reading about this and explaining it to people. It's your Agenda 2030 goals. Human augmentation for your health. So, back over here. The cellular wireless generation between 5, 6, and 7G refers to speed, system frequency, and technology changes. Each generation has some standards, capacities, new features which differentiate it from the previous one. 6G is the beneficiary of 5G and will be able to use higher than 5G networks while offering higher capacity and much lower latency. Supporting 1 microsecond latency communication is one of the goals of 6G internet. This is 1,000 times faster than 1 millisecond throughput, or 1/1000th of the latency. 6G's higher frequencies will enable faster sampling rates and deliver adequate throughput and higher data rates. Combining sub-millimeter wavelengths smaller than 1 millimeter, and frequency selectivity to resolve relative electromagnetic absorption rates could potentially lead to advances in wireless sensing technology, like biosensors that you already have in 802.15.4, low rate, low latency
That's what I was thinking, Scotty.
biosensing tech that connects right into your mesh networks. Could be your smart fridge, could be the side of your house.
Yeah.
Yeah. With your body.
Yeah, these mesh networks
area,
are interesting.
Network. Yeah. Since 1995. Yeah. It's okay to talk about it now. The biosensors are right down here in wireless sensor network, monitoring traffic, crops, infrastructure, and healthcare.
Everything.
Healthcare like telemedicine and mHealth. Can we talk about it now? Because you've had it for 30 years, but yet somehow now you're going to cure cancer, diabetes, and everything else by using biosurveillance under people's skin, implanting very small biosensors inside the human body that are comfortable and that don't impair normal activities. Do you mean normal activities like human recognition radar or human activity recognition radar, so that we can use the Doppler to watch you sit, move, stand, and breathe? Yeah. In the view of national security, radar micro Doppler signatures, here's your IEEE again, based recognition of suspicious human activities becomes significant.
Yeah, you do.
Artificial intelligence signal processing, machine learning sensors, image processing. That's right. 2022, where's everybody else talking about things that mean nothing? And therefore, werewolves versus villagers, since the entire populace has been so dumbed down, they won't even do a Google search. Human activity recognition radar. Click on images and look at how many bodies you see. What about this one? Straight up at ResearchGate. Human activity recognition system. Video-based, ring cameras, sensor-based, biosensors, radar-based, micro-Doppler, radio frequency-based. Well, somebody's aiming at you from electronic warfare.
They're looking at you a lot.
Electronic warfare. Welcome to BAE Systems. What are they doing? Cognitive electronic warfare is the use of cognitive systems, commonly known as AI or machine learning, to enhance development and operation of electronic warfare. See, we've had electronic warfare for 60 years. I would recommend one of my other videos, including the bioradar videos I just redid for people to get caught up. Cognitive systems can sense, learn, reason, and interact naturally with people and environments.
Just need to unplug you.
And implementation of next generation electronic weaponry threat detection, suppression, and neutralization technologies. The most successful uses of cognitive electronic warfare are not those that rely entirely on computers, but are instead those which combine computer input with human strategies, assigning data collection, information storage, like ubiquitous computing. Because in ubiquitous computing, that's the practice of embedding in all those little sensors inside of everything, information processing, network communication, to turn us into the Internet of Everything. And they have, with appropriate Cisco Yang modeling software for your digital twin. Digital twin, and this time I'm going to bring up just the basic search. Oh, look what we get. Digital twins can be an AI model of a person or part of a person used to analyze large quantities of health data in order to provide more personalized treatment or speed up drug development. That's right. So why aren't we talking about it? What is going on with all this secrecy about the new mHealth, eHealth, and telehealth? Now, normally, folks, I take you into building digital twins of the human immune system from a journal of digital medicine. I don't like messing around with articles because sometimes they fabricate stuff or they get it wrong because they don't understand. Whereas these papers, they can't really afford to get it wrong because they're peer reviewed over here. Okay. Some places like
don't rely on reviews of papers.
It's not peer reviewed, and again, I will let you know, so that way you can choose or select a different, appropriately peer reviewed journal. But in this particular case, we are using The
Why
multi-scale
isn't it
biological data, your immune system's digitwins, so that we can test drugs on the computer model before you get your precision AI healthcare. And this all goes together with wireless healthcare. And people are
AI
not
as a
talking
doctor
about
apparently
this as
did
if
better
it's
than
real.
real
They are
doctors.
treating this as if it is
I don't know if
sci-fi
that's
and
true or not.
fantasy. That is not appropriate. It is right here. It has been deployed since the COVID was good because they want to log into your body wirelessly, and they want you in a 15-minute city in which your biosensors will electrocute you just a little from under the skin if you violate your geofence. Welcome to
Just a little.
Weapons for Quiet
Yeah.
Wars. You
Yeah.
call it a 15-minute.
Oh my God.
They lied and said it was urban planning until you read the whole article.
All those
Because if you
5G
stopped
towers are
reading
set up in a
because you were
perimeter
afraid,
around
or you were
neighborhoods.
desperate to be able to trust these people, then you thought, well, it's no big deal. It's urban planning. No, they're taking away your car keys permanently.
Yeah.
You don't get to leave your 15-minute zone except for X amount of times per year, which goes down until you don't have that access anymore. You either have to purchase or earn it, and for that, you have to apply for it the same way we apply for a driver's license today. And they're under your skin. There is no saying no to them because they're under your skin with their ubiquitous and pervasive computing. The one blog post page I do use is from Pervasive Computing. On the body or under the skin, because they are under your skin. 802.15.4, and the reason
It's
for
in your
that
blood.
is biosurveillance for more. Not joking. I'm not being hyperbolic. You have been played. This whole system is built from the top down for total surveillance by a very small amount of people. The back end of our electromagnetic warfare systems, okay? Warfare. How does electromagnetic warfare work?
Yeah, right.
Radio waves, microwaves, millimeter waves, infrared, and visible light. Okay? Then I want to know.
You can search out the documents and look them up yourself.
Communication system.
I've shared
my
many.
health apps, like my
Hey, Desert Rose.
the different apps that I use, my Fitbit, my In Persona, whatever. The taxonomy of the intra-body communication technologies are the same as how electromagnetic warfare works. Microwave, millimeter wave, terahertz, and optical, and ultrasound. Where are we again? We're at the Internet of Medical Things paradigm that will enable next-gen healthcare by enhancing human abilities, supporting continuous body monitoring, and restoring lost physiological functions due to serious impairments. This paper presents intra-body communication solutions that interconnect implantable devices for application to the nervous system, challenging the specific feature of the complex intra-body scenario. The presented approaches include both speculative and implementative methods, ranging from neural signal transmission to test beds to be applied to specific neural disease therapies. Also, future directions in this research area are considered to overcome the existing technical challenges mainly associated with miniaturization, power supply, and multi-scale communications.
You want it to power
Internet
itself.
of Things, nervous system applications, electromagnetic communications. What did you tell people? You told them to be afraid and sit in their kill box in their house. Now they will be unable to leave their 15-minute city. You didn't tell them that there are biosensors under their skin with access to cybersecurity for national biosurveillance. They think they can lift their arm. They think they can run. They know nothing about what you've done. In relation to the FCC mandating that medical body area network 12 years ago, that means that cybersecurity, spectrum and allocation, and all the different ways that you would hack a medical body area network have had 12 years to work out the kinks.
Everyone sub up to
Is
Michael
it okay
there.
to tell them now? Is it okay
Like
for
he's
them
making
to
content.
know that the beam steering on the back of the phone of IRS agents is connected to our pause missile systems for phase array. Is it okay now? Can we tell our people how we watch them from under the skin, Raytheon? My dad worked on an AN-9 elephant cage in Massawa and San Vito, and in Italy. Is it okay now? Tell them what you've done for 12 years. That you took our weapons with radio, microwave, millimeter, and infrared, and you put it under people's skin for neuromodulation for 30 years. No private thought, no private feelings. To be
on for another
electrocuted in
15
your bed at any moment, for any reason. $30,000 with the FBI, 50 with the Air Force. No recourse. Is it okay to talk about it now?
Team Trump.
Now that it's there in your sustainability goals of augmenting the populations of the world as a private decision of business and government, not people. And that's it. From the human augmentation strategic implementation, the dawn of a new paradigm, strategic implications project between the UK and Germany does not reflect their policy.
These people are sick.
It does reflect their strategy.
Thank you for sharing that document.
In 2021, we're going to be going down to page 15.
Where was it? Got a lot of tabs open now.
And on page 14, you're going to see the science and technology section, which helps you understand the invasive brain interfaces versus the gut microbiome and all the other things we talk about here on the channel, and where the technological maturity is. And then they say, we cannot wait for the ethics of human augmentation to be decided for us. We must be part of the conversation now. The ethical implications are significant but not insurmountable. Early and regular engagement will be essential to remain at the forefront of this field. Ethical perspectives on human augmentation will change, and this could happen quickly. There may be a moral obligation to augment people, particularly in cases where it promotes protection from a novel viral threat. It could be argued that treatments involving novel vaccination processes and gene and cell therapies are examples of human augmentation already in the pipeline. We know here on the channel it's called graphene healthcare because it has market share. They didn't seem to be interested in letting anyone else know that, though. And you can go through and find tons of it, from Frontier Royal Chemistry Society journals about the graphene-based sensors and health monitoring, to their graphene flagship program at the University of Manchester,
good graphic to
the
have.
ResearchGate papers about the different types of sensors, to the way that it changes things around inside neuromodulation sensors, electrochemical sensors. There are many different kinds of biosensors, and there are many different types and ways to use graphene in several different scalar levels of how it adjusts itself, not just by the biochemistry or the electrical fields that are exogenous, meaning outside of you, but also by different types of genetic circuits that they have rewired and grown into themselves with organoids and organelles. That's what human augmentation is. Human augmentation is not that we gave you earbuds. Human augmentation is injecting people with a bio-cyber interface and calling it a bioweapon and scaring the crap out of them so that they have no idea what is authentically happening under their skin. There is a such thing as biomedical telemetry, and that means aim and fire under your skin. When I design a bio-cyber interface for your body area network, that's not a bioweapon. That's molecular communication with a biomedical engineer with the IMBS at your IEEE. And that is because it's going to look like Kirlian photography up in here. When I click on images for magnetic human body communication, there's your IEEE EMBS. What are they watching? Your body area networks. Why? It's their job. Radio wave versus human body straight through the skin communication, November 2020, the IEEE transactions on biomedical engineering. This is what you've placed into conspiracy theory so that no one has the opportunity to stop you because you already decided you're augmenting your populations by nation. The Brain Project at different types of CERN projects. They all correlate.
No, that's not really how it works,
into
Mr.
digital
Mission.
twin databases that are harnessed by our Department of Defense for exactly this. That it goes hand in hand with the cognitive electronic warfare going on with NATO's documentation. The need to use human augmentation may ultimately be dictated by national interest because the future of human augmentation should not be decided by ethicists or public opinion. Governments will need to develop, governments will need to develop a clear policy position that maximizes the use of human augmentation in support of national prosperity, national safety, and national security.
Nothing to do with the person there.
Channel. This is what I, Sabrina Dawn Wallace, stand against. If you would like to be a cyborg, if you wanted to be directly connected to the internet, and you already are, they're just not telling you that, then that's one thing. But if you're like me and you're violated in utero and throughout your young life and no one ever told me why, never. They were still testing on me without my knowledge or consent pretty violently all the way to 2019. I didn't show up on the internet for any other reason than Jesus Christ the Nazarene, amen, or your creator, because I know that Jesus is a name placeholder for God. Well, I believe in God. God is the one who saved me from these monsters.
I don't agree with this stuff, but
the transhumanists, you'll know it by another name.
No, I didn't agree to it either. Did you?
Is they call everything they do emergent technologies.
No, I meant her God stuff and her Jesus and all that.
Take it or leave it.
Really fully developed yet. Okay, up here at the top, it says
she helps point you to the documents and the actual
development,
information on it. So.
Both are still not here. We've had 20 years of nanotechnology, the distributed ledger technology, where my cursor is hovering right now. See it? That is your blockchain and Bitcoin. That means that none of you using Bitcoin are real either. Your bank account's having a hallucination because the practical application of the distributed ledger tech, it's not here. Neither are your augmented reality goggles. And while our quote unquote truther community has been doing this to everyone, what are you really doing over there?
Yeah, what are you really doing?
Classical eugenics, because it does. And I thought this is exactly what America stood against.
Yep, she does.
Yeah.
Wasn't this what a bunch of our relatives fought and died for? Was to stop classical eugenics? You can't use the enemy's weapons to defeat them by turning everyone into a cyborg and having cyborg wars. That's what you're doing.
Yeah, and guess who's behind all that?
Yeah. Go figure out what the music is and you'll understand the reference. Okay. Volume 11, Issue 2, Network Security and Digital Forensics and Next Generation.
Yeah, I guess we just bought up a bunch of radio stations.
Done. This is
Mr.
the Wireless
Soros,
Body Area Network in cybersecurity with the following universities: MIT, Carnegie Mellon.
I mean, their religion is based on eugenics.
And she was showing you that before they were using RF radio frequency, which is radio towers,
your personal area
radio stations,
tech, and your HIPAA references.
About 200.
These sensors are for biosurveillance and DNA radar. See, did you think that we would just stop once we were reading every electrical signal inside of you with biosignals and bioelectricity? Nope.
Yes, he did.
We are going to DNA radar. 7G is the inescapable intelligent cellular technology that will succeed 5 and 6G, which will be able to provide substantially higher capacity and use higher frequencies with that lower latency. The requirement of very high bandwidth, nearly non-existent latency, and universal integration will be met by 7G. Societies always insist on more wireless and mobile computing requirements, such as more e-bandwidth, speed, connectivity, and overall potential. The 7G networks will offer the standards of data gathering and communications and are expected to boost massive improvements in imaging, data analytics, location awareness, artificial general intelligence, and next-gen computation capabilities via high-powered and quantum computing.
Nice.
Now, I'm going to let y'all read this yourself, but I'm going to skip to right here. This will provide many advantages. The 7G technology becomes operational, including
they're going to take
improved
care of us
access
real
to
good.
artificial general intelligence capabilities with
It says smell
substantially
the flu
more data
coming.
created by 7G networks. 7G will have profound implications for public safety and in addressing critical issues such as threat detection, crime control, mind reading.
Mind
Health
reading. Yes, well, that's how you
monitoring,
control it.
disaster preparedness, gas and toxicity sensing, and the Internet of Things device management.
Oh, great.
That's why on my channel, just like
You know, she should pause almost everything she says. She should pause for a few minutes so that people's brain can absorb it. You know.
Onto
But
the
yeah,
UFO
these
circuit for
bastards
telling
are
the truth
sick.
about cognitive electronic warfare. When I know human augmentation is definitely on the agenda. Human activity recognition radar is old. We've been doing great with that and ubiquitous computing. So I have 2 short video clips to
There's
show
nowhere to
you.
go, unfortunately.
And for the people on the channel, a very kind commenter asked, Sabrina, you kind of repeated yourself in the bio radar videos. Respectfully, sir, this is why. I wanted people to have the opportunity to round out what they think they know, ensure they've got all their linear time incorporation ducks in a row for the folks who do study on the channel. And then this is where we're headed. Because this is what's going on for a while. This ain't new. I can't say it enough. This stuff is not new. This is where you're headed, and then we're going to watch the videos.
2 children.
Your AI buddy that follows you around with that artificial
I think we are too, Colin.
That is a literal copy as your digi-twin of your neurons. Resurfacing
I hate that they have that. I want that data erased. All of it.
Those are the
for everyone. They shouldn't be able to store that data.
They can electrocute you or magnetize you under your skin just by walking past you. These are augmented humans. They're connected to the internet in the environment because they're using the 7G that you won't even admit exists and beyond. That's the plan. The 6G is already there being tested right now in enterprise, meaning anyone can buy it, play with it, whatever. This is why our channel has been doing our best to ring the bell with channels like this one, because if you want to know everything about the biodigital convergence, this is the channel to watch. The Non-Vaxxer 420 has been out there longer than myself in relation to the biodigi convergence.
Leading to medical breakthroughs.
That's their plan.
Including
2/3.
devices that can
More
actually
than that.
read minds
90%.
and alter our brains to help treat conditions like anxiety, Alzheimer's.
But that technology raises
Super
privacy
patch.
concerns. That's why Colorado passed a first of its kind law.
It's for anxiety too.
Thoughts remain private. Your political reporter Sean Boyd joins us live from the
well, I hate to say it,
Sean,
but
this is
the
really
majority of the
mind-blowing
population
to
are
think
popping
about.
those
Who
pills
has
anyways.
access to this technology?
So this is just in lieu of that. They're already doing it. So.
Everyone, believe it or not, you can buy devices on the internet right now that can, to varying degrees, decode your brain waves. And the technology being developed by the likes of Elon Musk, Apple, Meta, and OpenAI can change, enhance, and control your thoughts, emotions, even your memories. It's the dawn of a new era filled with promise and peril.
Anything you wanted to do, you can move your computer with your mind and you can control it with your mind using this device.
If you think telepathy or mind control is the stuff of science fiction, think again.
This is why and where, whoever you are, it is not appropriate to pretend anymore that these people don't have jobs, knowing what they're doing, and market share, and companies. We need to have an intellectual dialogue. Ginkgo Bioworks is well known to our channel because here on the channel, when I bring up, you'll see it come up right away. Ginkgo Bioworks. Yeah, the new economy is a bioeconomy of changing out your molecules and sending them wirelessly somewhere else, or downloading wireless tissue scaffolding and new testing of your DNA against your digitwin, where the AI with machine learning is going to cure you of all ills and make you a superhuman.
Yeah,
origami.
that's what they're
protein
going to use it
folding.
for.
Nutraceuticals have a whole new meaning when I can just download it directly into my body with something called bioelectronics. Little tattoos that I can write on myself with graphene.
Super patch.
I don't have to jam myself with a needle if I'm diabetic. Doesn't that sound wonderful? Except you're never alone under your skin anymore. Like you haven't been alone in your own house.
They can help with weight loss with the super patch too.
Ever.
Forgot that one.
And
Isn't
if
that
they
amazing?
don't like something you do, they will alter.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they got all kinds of patches for.
That
The
also
closer you
is
live to
part
a
of
cell
their
tower,
job
the higher your
for
blood sugar level could be.
macrogenomics.
Not medical
See, precision AI
advice,
healthcare
but
is
just
all
what I
about
read in a
your
document.
health. But your health has to match
So
the genome of everyone around you. Otherwise, it ain't going to hold. Your epigenetics will mold you back to a lesser DNA structure. So they need to put the people they don't like in a 15-minute open-air prison, and then they get the rest of the world to themselves using macrogenomics and all these databases they've been busy building for 50 years. Not macrogenics, macrogenomics. Every time I put this in, it wants to go a different direction. So at the NIH, correlation between gut microbiota and other stuff in adult epileptic patients. This is where they get a group of people together and they investigate what the genome does based on a larger group. The better way to look it up is omics. Just forget I said macrogenomics. In biology, the word omics refers to the sum of constituents within a cell, but all I'm trying to show you is the DNA, the RNA, and the proteins, and all the different metabolite folding systems. It's in precision medicine.
good idea. Thanks, Colin.
The assertion that I just made about controlling all the different states of the genome, because they do. They have databases for this, and they're not just enterprise. The databases are not just enterprise. This was the work of Lisa and attorney Todd Callender, Lisa McKee, I think it is, or McKee, over at Vax Choice, talking about our Department of Energy Gold database, in which you find out this is our genomes for everybody in the world. They log in and they see how you react to any pathogen they want. That is why calling it a bioweapon is inappropriate. It is a biocyber interface for their cognitive C40 cities, replete with access to the ubiquitous computing.
Oh no, you get sick, and you get sick, and you get sick.
Box, they can go ahead and even out everyone's bodies because they're already in your body.
Don't know what happened.
We don't have vaccine shedding. We have, this is important for the video you're about to see. We have load balancing W bands. What that means is anytime you have a network, we have to load balance your network. Well, here's all the bodies that
person
we're
to
load
person.
balancing. Because some bodies are going to need faster service because they just got out of surgery or they're being monitored for something medical. And other bodies are not going to need that much service because they're not really, there's nothing wrong with them. They're younger, or maybe they're older and we've got a younger patient instead. And we, those of us who are in computer networking, have to give priority to the ones that need medical care up here in the internet. So that's why we load balance wireless body area networks, so we can ensure that the data gets to the right location in the right timing for the right body. And this is all in a bunch of technical stuff with W-band protocols. So I don't want to go any further than that. But when you hear us talk about human activity radar recognition, and again, those of you here on the channel, we're going to be going into DNA radar. This right here is why.
Joining us now, Ginkgo Bioworks CEO Jason Kelly. Jason, it's great to have you on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Morgan.
All right, so walk me through this partnership that you struck with Google, because it looks like you're going to pay Google an escalating minimum amount over the course of 5 years, and then Google, based on undisclosed business milestones, has the possibility of putting money back into Ginkgo as well. So what is this going to enable?
Yeah, so the number one thing it enables is it gets us access to the infrastructure at Google. Right. And the reason this is exciting is, folks have gotten to learn more and more about how these AI models work. Right. And to give you an example, something like ChatGPT, basically, this big computer brain, it was fed a bunch of English language books and other text, and it learned to speak English. And the idea behind our project with Google is to take that same kind of computer brain, instead of giving it books written in English, give it books written in DNA. So the genomes of all the organisms that are out there in nature. And the idea is it'll learn to speak DNA just like ChatGPT learned to speak English. And DNA is behind half of your therapeutic drugs, many of your foods, new materials, and things like that. And the hope is this model could ultimately do that job better than, you know, a scientist trying to write that DNA by hand. And that's the project with Google. And by doing this scale of deal, where we are committing to $250 million of spend over the next 5 years, we build that asset for our customers here at Ginkgo, and they can access it as a service.
Yeah, and I know you sit on quite a bit of data. It sounds very promising. We've had a number of investors who've come on and
disturbing.
Said biotech, for example, is one of those key near-term areas where you're going to see generative AI realized. So how quickly does this become a money-making endeavor for you?
Already is.
Yeah, so you know, these models take a little bit of time to train, but not that long. Even these big foundation models being trained on huge amounts of English language data are trained over 3 or 6 month periods, right? So we do expect to be able to have models get out there. You know, Ginkgo uniquely has a platform business model where we can go out and get service fees and ultimately get royalties from our customers. So we have the go-to-market channels for this already, which we think is pretty unique in biotech.
So then is this a new revenue stream, or does this build on the revenue streams you have already?
It should expand the ones we have already. Now, we are looking, and this is something we're really excited about. You know, Google has the ability to launch models in their sort of marketplace. And I think if that is successful, and we will be trying that out as part of
I don't like the Google
that
has genetic databases. That's not.
And that's just a new area right now, even on top of these sort of generative English language models. People are still trying to figure out what are the right business models. We're going to run that same experiment in the biotech industry.
Well, that's the problem, you know, with this
so as you
is,
make these investments, as you build out
you know, there
these
could be
models,
good things,
how do you
right?
balance
But
that against
it could,
your current book of business.
But
You've
it
got
could
the
also be used for
synthetic
bad. And
biology,
that's
but you have
the whole
biosecurity
thing
business,
about all
which
technology.
grew strongly during the pandemic, but
Yep,
is now
that's what
lacking some of
LEDs
those
are
figures
about.
and has fallen off
Changing
as
your
we've seen
DNA,
demand for some
right?
of your products around that
Transcribing.
wane.
They can do all
You're
kinds
not
of things
making
with
money yet,
LEDs.
but I know you're sitting on a cash pile. So how does all this play out?
Yeah, so we ended last quarter with 1.1.
That's why I have incandescent bulbs in my house.
Margin of safety for us to build all this stuff out over time. So biosecurity, just to bring it up, you know, we have a program with the CDC where we look at wastewater from planes, and then we read the DNA of what's in there to look for emerging pathogens. And we're expanding that internationally now as well. We have large programs in control.
You can do that, but you can't find 280,000 missing kids.
We see that as really a persistent, think of it like radar stations monitoring the weather and also looking, you know, for defense applications like military and so on. We should have similar bio radar stations, and absolutely being able to interpret that DNA sequence data. One of the things that would run through is AI models like the ones we're talking about here with Google. So we do think it's a nice fit.
Rat bastards.
Yeah, so that's the thing, you know, good and bad, right? So
that's it.
You know,
so yeah, you complain about it, bitch about it.
I'm kind of surprised talking about the whole
8.15 megahertz. That's what they log into your body with.
I know.
Remember those numbers. Spread those numbers. Just getting people to look up those numbers will lead them to the IEEE and the wireless body area network. So those numbers are very important. 802.15, 154, and 155. They use others as well.
Mm-hmm.
Had that pulled up for you. Yeah, right here. IEEE has several standards for the personal area network, PANs, including 802.154, 802.155. Let's see if we'll be able to show more. Okay, they'll show me a little more. Yeah, so defines a physical layer and medium access control, MAC address, specifications for wireless connectivity between devices and within a personal operating space. Task groups of this standard is based in Bluetooth technology, but they won't outlay that it's for your body, right?
Hmm.
Or they're on to 1.6. They're on to 802.11. In one document, I was looking at my browser, lost connection. That's hilarious. All right, guys, I was going to cut it off 8 minutes ago, but I thought I'd let it finish the video. Until next time, thank you for coming up. Nina, you got something coming up tonight or tomorrow?
Yeah, going live tonight at 6 o'clock Pacific. That'll be 9 Eastern with Robert V. So,
Excellent.
yeah, join us.
All right. Thank you for coming by. Thank you all in chat for participating. Remember the 802.15, and if you can sneak that number into somewhere where it'll get noticed, do it. All right. Bye-bye, guys.
See you later.